It is definitely getting toasty out here. Got kind of a big mess here. Ooh, wow. Oh, smoke, smoke, smoke. There are real monsters in life. And ooh, what was that? That was kind of spooky. That gave me chills. Hey everybody, Joe here. I want to welcome you guys back to my author's channel here on YouTube. Planning something a little bit special this morning, something I haven't done out here at the clearing by the fire pit. I'm going to be cooking up some breakfast today. It's going to be a breakfast of bacon, eggs, and evil. And what I mean by that is I kind of want to talk a little bit today about why I chose dark fantasy and horror as the genre in which to write my Rivendell trilogy. Kind of maybe touch on some of the origins of my interest in, the kind of genre of horror and its influences on my life and where they came from. So anyway, before I begin, I need to cut some firewood and get the fire going. I'm going to make some coffee, and then I'll talk a little bit about what we have coming ahead. So anyway, why don't you join me this morning for a breakfast of monsters and mayhem out here in the woods of Rivendell. Hey everyone, back here at the clearing. Want to just give you a quick once over of what the clearing looks like right now. I've got some wood over here I need to cut up, and then I'll get the fire going. All right, I got most of the wood cut up and I got a little bit of a fire going. I thought maybe this would be a good time to talk a little bit about also my plans for the clearing out here. As you guys can see, the summer is here and the foliage behind me has gotten really thick. The woods are at their peak of new growth, and it's kind of fun to be out here. Let's go ahead and take a look at that fire. I wanted to take a second too to walk around the clearing out here a little bit and talk about some of the things I'd like to do. As you can see here, I've got a good pile of wood I've been working on for the last couple of months. So I have a good stockpile of that. One of the things I want to do is to put a tarp across here, run it from that tree to this tree across here, not maybe directly over the fire, or at least high enough so that I can come out here when it rains, and it'll give me more opportunities to be out here. In addition to the tarp, I've got some pallets with some beautiful weathered wood that I want to use here to make some additional seating that's a little bit more comfortable. I also want to add some seating over here and over on this side of the clearing by the fire, so I can have people out here, people who might be interested in talking about Rivendoa, maybe have some group discussions out here. It might be kind of interesting. Also, for friends and family to kind of come out here and enjoy this space also. I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit more to the fire. Want to get a good base of coals because I'm going to be using my new skillet today, which I bought specifically for use out here at the fire pit in the clearing. Got my coffee press, my container for my pot for boiling, my kuksa, and brought this for cooking today. And here is the star of the show. It's a brand new, this is a Kingsford skillet. It's brand new. It hasn't been used yet, so gonna have to work on oiling it and getting it primed for cooking today. So anyway, this is going to be first time use for the clearing campfire cooking pot, cooking skillet. Got my usual Hellfire. And got my coffee. And over here, I brought bacon, eggs, and butter. I don't know if you can see that with the camera, but I got 2 eggs, got some strips of bacon, some butter, and a bagel, all of which I'm gonna hopefully cook right here in the pot. I might do these on the grill, but I think I'm all set for some bacon, eggs, and evil. Love the sound of the birds out here. Really takes me to a peaceful place. I really love coming out here, and it's more than just making the videos. I love to kind of come out here and make the fire, though I don't know if you can feel the heat. I can definitely feel it. But getting out here in nature, even though I'm not that far from the house, I love to take walks with the dogs out here. But getting out here and making a cup of coffee and making some breakfast kind of takes me back to nature, which I think is always kind of a calming thing. Even when you just sort of sit and listen. Like over here, I can see a beautiful little black butterfly, and I can hear the birds. It's nice. Got that fire going good. Put my first really big log in there, which I've used out here at the fire pit. But I think it's going to be cooking down here in or dying down here in just a little bit with some nice bed of coals, and I'll get that coffee brewing. Wow, it is definitely getting toasty out here. I thought this might be a good time to talk about, maybe just to start a little bit, giving you some background on me as a person and my interest in horror and evil and monsters. As a boy, I was always sort of fascinated with monsters. I used to love the old black and white films. I think I remember the first kind of scary horror movie I saw was King Kong. And, it was such an incredible adventure. And even though it was in black and white, and the animation by Willis O'Brien at the time was, state of the art. But by the time I saw it in the 1960s, it was black and white, and it was sort of old school, but it was still an incredible story. Even now, when I watch that film, I think what an incredible story it is. And I think part of it is that, the monster, King Kong is both a frightening figure, but also a tragic figure, who dies at the end. 'Twas beauty that killed the beast. That line at the end of the film is sort of heart-wrenching, and I think that's kind of the type of monster or evil that sort of interests me. How I intend to incorporate those elements into Rivendell, I haven't quite figured out 100% yet, because I'm still writing those aspects of the first novel. And really in the first novel, Wings of Shadow, you sort of aren't introduced fully to the evil characters. Malcolm Sutton is sort of the central main character of evil, and it's really going to be in the second and third novels that the depth of those characters will be elaborated on. But I like the idea that evil is just not some blank, mindless, monster. That it comes from origin. It has an origin story, and and I may not tell all that in the book, but I'll have written it in my mind, and maybe actually written some of it down for where he came from and why he's doing what he's doing. Some of that will come through in his actions, but for the most part, in the first book, it's just frightening, scary monster. In the second book, we'll maybe delve in a little bit of why that character and the creatures around him that he creates are that way. but you know, I thought maybe it looks like the fire is dying down a little bit, and I thought maybe I'd talk a little bit while I was waiting for that to happen. But you know, I'm dying for some coffee, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and get that cooking. I think I'll be using 2 of these today, you know, in order to put that on there, and I mean, just maybe one for my coffee, and then I'll put that on later. Looks like that water is very close to being ready. I think I'll go ahead and get it off the fire. Ooh, hot. Got some of my 8 o'clock coffee in here, and I'm getting ready to brew it up. So let me get my hot gloves on, and we will pour this in. Whew. Hot. Give that a second to brew, get all mixed in there, and then I'll put on my press. All right, I've just pushed down the press, giving it just a second to brew a little bit longer, and then I'm going to pour it in my kuksa and have a nice, delicious cup of coffee. I think I'm ready, so I'm going to go ahead and try it. I think I better put on my hot glove though. Here we go. Ooh, yeah. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but that is looking good. Ooh, yeah, nice and hot too. Ooh, let's see. Yes, very hot. Ooh, that's good. Nothing like a hot cup of coffee out by the fire, even in the middle of June. But it's good. It's very tasty. All right. Let me tend that fire just a second, get my grills on, and then we'll prep the skillet, because it's going to be the first time I'm using it. I'm going to put a little butter in it to you know, get some oil in there, which will help make it more of a good cooking skillet. So let me go ahead and tend the fire real quick, and we'll come back here for a little more coffee. All right, let's see if we can prep this skillet. I've got a little bit of butter in here. Probably should have brought some oil, but I want to line the, got some Land O'Lakes, a little bit here. And I think what I'm going to do is just rub it on the skillet, which I dripped a little coffee into, but you know, that never hurt. And I might put it on for just a second to heat it up so this butter will melt. But I'm going to basically rub it on like this, and that kind of primes it, so it'll be ready for cooking. Let me go ahead and do that real quick. All right, that's exactly what I needed. It is nice and toasty warm, and I am going to butter it, which is probably maybe not the best. It would probably been better to have put a little oil in here, but see, yeah, it's going on really nice. It's actually cooking in there a little bit. Don't want to use it all up. I'll go ahead and lay it right here. Oop, I'm dripping it a little bit, but I'm gonna go ahead and run it around. Maybe use my finger a little bit to get it totally on there. Now I think we are ready to do a little cooking. So here we go. Got a nice seed on there. I'm going to start here with a little bacon. Take off this. Got a couple slices in here. And we will see how that cooks. Then I think I'm just going to throw the eggs in around it once I get it going. Just make a big mess of bacon, eggs, and you. Nothing like the sound of bacon cooking, huh? Yeah. This coffee is great. This may be cooking a little too fast. I may have to pull it off to the side here. We'll have to take a peek. Once I turn it and I get a nice golden brown, I'm going to throw the eggs in, and I'll definitely pull it off because I don't want them to stick. And I think I'm going to need to leave some room here for the bacon to throw in at the last minute. Wish you guys could smell this. Ooh, okay, it's getting a little hot. I'm going to pull that off and give that a second to kind of cook over here on the skillet. Let the skillet do the cooking. Ooh, yeah, looking good. Ooh, yeah. Can you see that? Yeah. It's going to get a little messy when I put in the eggs, but you know, a little grease will be okay. Got my eggs in here. Yep. looking good. Ooh, I'm getting the fire. Oh, there we go. Okay, I'm going to throw in those eggs. So, get ready. Let's see how they go. This is either going to be nice or it's going to be a big mess. Ooh. Got my bagels. Gonna throw on right here and right here. They are pre-buttered. I think I'm gonna be looking really good here. Got my coffee going. Got my eggs and bacon. I've somehow kept the, ooh, that is looking a little sticky. But we will see. Maybe I need to move that a little bit. Get some of that. Ooh, I broke my egg. Some of that oil over there. Ooh. Oops. Overdid that just a wee bit. Ow, it's going to be toasty. I'll just stick that right there. Okay, I think we are ready to flip. I think I may have made a mess here with my eggs, but we'll see. Yeah, they're kind of a little bit on the messy side. Maybe I need to get them over here a little bit more. Ooh, a log broke. Well, it looks like I burned everything a little bit. These are definitely on the toasty side, over toasty. I think my eggs are close to being done. I'm gonna have to work on my fireside skills here though. To see if I can turn this thing. Not too bad. I think I'm gonna throw them all on the, just throw this whole mess right on the, ooh, getting toasty there too. Just gonna throw this whole big mess right on my burnt bagels and see how it tastes. Give it a little bit more time. All right, I'm gonna see if I can pile all this up on my bagels. Got kind of a big mess here. I'm gonna have to work on my campfire skills. But in terms of cooking, it seems like I got the coffee and the tea down, but cooking on the fire is gonna be a new experience, or something I haven't done for a long time. So anyway, let me pile all this on and I'll show you what it looks like. All right, that looks like the bottom. I'm going to save this piece, but I'm going to throw these on because they look very done. I've got some butter on here already on the bagel. So let's just scoop up this mess. Ooh, yeah, it's looking tasty. And we'll just pile it all on here. Make a big old mess. Burn on burn. Ooh, look at that. Look at that. That's gonna be tasty. Okay, are you ready? Here we go. This is strangely kind of disgusting, but you know, it looks very tasty. Mmm. Oh my God. Mmm. even though it's a little burnt and it's turned into sort of a garbage truck bagel, it is very good. Something about cooking something over an open fire, you know, putting it all together, even if it's a little burnt, very tasty. Coming out all over. Oh, that's good. See that? Oh my God. Well, probably the last thing you wanted to do was see me eat on camera, but I can't help it. It's just too good. That is good. You know, I just thought, you know what I need to do next time is make s'mores on the fire. You know, melted chocolate on graham crackers with a brown marshmallow dripping down the side. That would be good. It's good. Okay, well, now that I'm baking out here, maybe we should go ahead and do a little talking, which is the whole reason for coming out here. I mean, you know, I like, you know, hanging out here and making breakfast and drinking coffee, but, you know, I'm really come out here to do a little discussion, you know, of Rivendell, and give you guys this, ooh, look at that sky, it's pretty. Give you guys as much discussion as, you know, backstory as I can on the making of Rivendell, so that when it does come out, you know, some of this will be documented in terms of, you know, what I had in mind when I was writing, you know, because some of it, you know, hasn't been written yet. It's still kind of somewhere back in here, and it's ready to come out, and maybe I can, ooh, I'm getting the smoke. Maybe waiting for the wind to turn. Ah, there we go. Okay. Okay, I'm halting for a second. Hold on. Ooh, smoke, smoke, smoke. Well, I've decided to move around a little bit since the smoke was sort of coming down on me. Of course, right in the sun, which is probably not the best for video. So maybe I'll just get up and move around a little bit till I get a good visual. Sort of wanted to do today was talk a little bit about the influences that I had as a kid and as a young boy that sort of influenced me in this direction in terms of horror and you know, wanting to fit the story of Rivendell within the context of a, you know, dark fantasy setting. You know, that's always fascinated me. As a boy, I was always fascinated with monsters. And in the beginning, I was drawn to the movie monsters, like I was saying about King Kong. You know, I was mesmerized by that film. And also the another character that kind of stands out in my mind was the Wicked Witch in The Wizard of Oz. You know, she was very frightening, you know, green and evil. And you had no backstory on her at all. And her character was not necessarily tragic, even though she dies tragically. You know, I'm melting, melting. What have you done, Dorothy? As I was saying, you know, the King Kong and the Wicked Witch of the West were all characters that, you know, influenced me as a kid. These evil characters were both frightening and tragic in their demise. Even the Wicked Witch of the West, you know, her demise is kind of tragic, you know, dying by water. You feel for her a little bit, you know, but, you know, still she was evil. But the other main influence in my childhood was the Universal monsters, the old black and white films from the 1930s and 40s. Just, you know, I would see them on Saturday and Sunday afternoons, or at watching a creature feature at night, like Friday and Saturday nights. You know, you couldn't watch movies at any time like you can now. Back then you had to, you know, either catch them when they were on or look forward to them because you had seen that they were going to air on a commercial. But anyway, you know, I was in love with the Wolfman, the Mummy, Dracula, Frankenstein, and the giant creatures like King Kong and Godzilla. There was something about those films, you know, especially Frankenstein was, you know, was a very artful film. And you know, most of these monsters, if not all of them, had some kind of tragic element to them. You know, a backstory, you know, as I've said, that let you kind of see that, you know, why they were so angry and evil and wanting to kill and maim and cause mayhem. You know, monsters and mayhem seem to go together. But, you know, you know, sort of a offshoot from that were I was also an avid fan of monster magazines, or monster comics, as they were called back then, you know, which were popular with boys at that time. And I'll show some of the covers here, the ones actually I remember having. I remember opening those up or seeing them on the newsstand at 7-Eleven. But there was eerie, Tales from the Crypt, creepy, weird, Legions of Monster was one of my favorites, and Man Thing. I remember that. I just ate that stuff up. You know, an offshoot of the comics were the Aurora monster models. They came in these cool little boxes. Here you can see some of the covers here. On Saturdays, my brother and I loved going down to Main Street in the town in which I lived, and we'd go to Compton's, which was the local toy store. And we'd go down there, and in addition to getting a brown paper bag of penny candy and gum, we'd check out, you know, in addition to all the toys we wanted, we'd mark off for you know, birthday and Christmas. We would check out the latest monster models on display. And I remember they had a display where you could see the boxes, and some of them that were put together. You know, I remember, you know, looking at the case and saying, oh my God, I really want that one. You know, I got to have the Wolfman, I got to have Dracula, I got to have King Kong. And they came with directions showing you how to glue it together, and then, you know, you'd paint it. You'd buy these little glass containers of paint of all different colors. You know, we had, you know, by the time I got through most of the models, I had a ton of those colored paints and used them for other projects too. But I actually still have my Aurora monster models. Some of them. I don't think I have all of them. You know, when I was preparing to do this, I thought, you know, I'm gonna pull those out, and so I rummaged through the garage. We had plastic containers out there, and rummaged through it to find them, and I had them all wrapped up, and they were sort of broken apart and dusty, and I sort of pulled them out and glued some of them together, dusted them off, and I'm going to put them in my barrister cabinet up in my office, and I'll show you some of them here. You can see I glued the ones I glued back together, and some I'm going to have on display here, at least for a while anyway. But you know, I wanted to pull them out. I knew I had them. I can't think of the number of times I almost threw them away, but decided to keep them. You know. Anyway, I hope you enjoy kind of looking at my paint skills. Weren't the best, but you know, I think I was probably, you know, between the ages of, you know, 6 and 11 when I did these, and some of them have the glow in the dark feature. You know, it's like the head or the hands would be glow in the dark. You know, if you look at the Mummy and I think Dracula and some of the others, you can see some glow in the dark elements, which, you know, you set them in the light and then you put them in a dark room, and you know, that was like an extra feature. You know, one of the other things we did after going to the toy store, going to Compton's, and then, you know, we'd always go by the bakery to pick up some donut holes or some, you know, some kind of dessert. We would plan to go to Saturday matinee, and you know, the big thing back then for us was the Hammer horror films, you know, and that was kind of another influence. And you know, those films, which were made probably in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, you know, and I was watching them in the mid to late 60s. You know, they were in Technicolor with lurid, you know, reds and greens, and lots of scary music and fake blood. And the ones I kind of remember the most was the Curse of Frankenstein, and the other one was the Horror of Dracula. Those two films kind of stand out, and when I look at them now, I still kind of remember, you know, how it made me feel. You know, we'd be sitting in the theater, you know, just, you know, eating our candy and our popcorn and just eating up the horror of it, you know, and enjoying the kind of the strange fantasy. You know, you had Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee. Peter Cushing always played the sort of the good guy, you know, foil to the monster. He was either Dr. Frankenstein or Van Helsing, whereas Christopher Lee played the monster, Frankenstein, or in probably his most famous role, he played Dracula. You know, and to me, he was sort of you know, a revelation as a Dracula character. You know, he brought a real sinister, you know, he rarely ever spoke, and he brought this like sinister element that was also strangely alluring. You know, there was a kind of a sexual component to him as a vampire. You know, the way he, you know, attacked these young nubile women in the films. And you know, that wasn't lost on me, even though I was still just a kid. You know, I would grow up to be a gay man, and you know, those portrayal of Dracula was not lost on me in its sexual element. But anyway, the other sort of main influence on besides my, you know, love of the horror films and the Universal monsters, there was Dark Shadows with Barnabas Collins and Quentin Collins and Angelique. You know, my brother and I would take those stories and other stories, you know, from the Hammer horror films and Dark Shadows, and we'd write our own like little scripts, and we'd dress up. You know, we had all the, you know, hammers and stakes and guns, of course, and we would dress up in like what we thought of, what we tried to make as period clothing, 1800s and or Victorian, I guess a lot of that was. And we would, we even had I remember we made a coffin out of a cardboard refrigerator box that we found. And, we would act it out with our friends. I think back then, you couldn't watch movies anytime you wanted to. And if you were interested in something like that, you had to wait until it aired on TV or it was going to show at the movies. And so in the meantime, you had to fill your, desire for those kinds of cool things by making up your own content. Now you just flip up your phone and, you watch videos, or you watch, you pay for movies and watch, stream movies. But back then, you had to kind of make your own fun, which, I think I worry a little bit today that kids don't have that challenge before them. Though they do have wonderful tools to make art today. I mean, you can make movies and, you know, all kinds of art very easily, and that I think is the trade-off. You can do all these interesting things, but sometimes when you have nothing to work with, you're just building it with your hands and with leftover pieces of stuff. It makes you kind of more creative in trying to pull things together from nothing. Anyway, that's my little rant on social situation right now. And I think, the monsters that I love the most, like I said, are ones that had you almost felt sorry for them. At first they scared you, because there would be scenes of, them attacking, people, and, people were running and afraid. And, but as you sort of learned their story a little bit, and you watched usually what was almost always a tragic end for the monster, you sort of begin to feel a connection and learn that, I think, the broader sort of psychological message is that, if you can relate to the monster, then maybe you are the monster in certain circumstances in life. And that makes you more maybe a compassionate to people who sometimes you think of as the enemy, or are monsters in life, in real life. And there are real monsters in life. And ooh, what was that? That was kind of spooky. That gave me chills. There are real monsters in this world. And, your parents tell you when you're a kid that there are no monsters, but there are. And usually they are people. And, I'm probably going to touch on that as a subject and the influence of those elements that have happened in my life that are also wrapped up in Rivendell. I've talked about that a little bit, I think. But today I just kind of wanted to go over some of the more nostalgic elements of my childhood and and my love of monsters, and how I want to incorporate a lot of those into my writing. In a later video, I'll focus on that, some of the adult situations that I have seen in life that, made me realize that there are monsters in this world. But also, I want to do another video on the written influences, the authors I've read, the books that I've read that influenced, and they influenced me very heavily in terms of what I want to write about, and how I want to write, and the structure and genre within that Rivendell exists within. So this sort of, I guess I'm kind of coming to the end of this video. And if you have any questions, put them in the comment section below. And again, don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't, because all that helps. And the more I see, the more videos I'm going to put out. So I would appreciate that. The fire's putting out some smoke here, so I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap up for today. Sometimes these videos just kind of ramble on. They always end up being longer than I think they're going to be. But I just want to share with you some of the things about me that I have put into my writing. I don't know if anybody will find it interesting, but if you do, please feel free to ask questions in the comment section below. You know, you can always email me through the site. You can post on, you know, the Rivendoa, Paul Joseph Russell, Twitter, and the Facebook page, and I think, and also comment on the Instagram page, which there are links for, you know, down here below. But anyway, I'm getting smoked out, so I'm going to go ahead and close up for today. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it was informative, and I hope to be making some more videos soon. And I'm going to go ahead and put that fire out because it is smoking up a storm. Anyway, I'll see you next time. Ooh, wow. Oh, smoke, smoke, smoke. Lord Almighty. Oh, I need some coffee. Ooh. Oh, all right. Let's get packed up. I'll see you next time.